Hey guys, Colton here from the EV Kingdom, and welcome to part 4 of What if Neo joined Team Ranger. Sorry this took a little while to actually get out there. I already tried recording this before, but the software I'm using kinda deleted the entire voiceover, so yeah. I'm gonna make this shorter, mostly in an attempt to make it. We'll make sure I don't accidentally have this voiceover delete. But fingers crossed. Anyways, I got something I should probably mention before starting the video. And that's actually someone commented on part 2 about the musk leaf, the grim I was mostly talking about in that part. And one, I don't think I ever knew its name, so thank you for that. And second, the comment was basically saying that even if no one got poisoned in it, so if I went the route where Crow's semblance didn't affect Neo, they would still have to fight it, but it would have been in its den, and not in the town. So, yeah. Thinking about it? Yeah, I agree. It wouldn't happen, and it's a good thing to note now, for future what-ifs, because I may get to this point thinking, hey, no one's gonna be poisoned at this point, so there would be no need for the Grim fight. And especially if they take the long route. Well, now I know better, and thank you. If you're watching this, I appreciate it. And if any of you guys really have anything like that, or just random thoughts, please comment in the comments below. I do read them, and I do appreciate them. Anyways, now onward to the what if. In the last part, I basically went over the events of Volume 5. I've had Yang and Weiss meet Neo. I also mentioned that Neo would be on probation due to the scenario I went with believing that was the more logical route and a more intriguing route. Personally. Yeah. Anyways, they met, the fight happened, and since Neo is more difficult since Neo was canonically in giving Cinder a decent fight before she used their maiden powers, a Neo that got some extra training and has allies and people who can keep up with her while she's fighting, Cinder was having way more trouble, so instead of stabbing Weiss in the kidney, she did it to Neo. And after John unlocked his semblance, Neo ended up realizing that she needs to take the opportunity, and she basically, in her own way, confessed as to how she feels about John. So, they are dating in this. And as I said in the last part, I believe it would be now that they would actually start, or at least a little after this moment, because an entire year gone by, I basically, so they had enough time to build that up. Anyways, everything else though in that fight ended the same. John unlocked his semblance, so I still believe he wouldn't amplify Weiss's by using his. So, again, everything would go the same. So, we actually cut to the train. And everyone's getting around. Neo is basically even closer to John than she was normally. And I think it would just be a cute thing if Neo gave John on Roman's hat as a sign of her moving on and putting John in the same light or bigger light than and she had for Roman. Sorry for the pause there. I already did an edit, so you'll see it eventually. But yeah, everything would happen the same. And they say either bye, goodbyes, they prepare. The two huntsmen try flirting with them, getting annoyed and clinging onto John's arm due to not wanting them to flirt with her, and also just being annoyed. And they get on the train. Neo, honestly, yeah. Neo, at this point, has permission and is basically off her probation, so she's able to freely travel around, but if she causes any trouble, she will get punished. But, yeah. Yeah, all that would happen the same. Blake and Yang would be awkward around each other. Ren and Nora would just be talking to each other. And honestly, I just thought of this a while ago, and I think it would be funny if RWBY just suddenly brought up the game they played in Volume 2, and now Neo and John are just wrecking shop with RWBY and Weiss. That's just funny, honestly. But the attack on the train would happen, and I don't think anything would change. Yes, Neo's there so she can provide cover, but when they agreed to split up, I don't see Neo going with Team RWBY. She's probably going to stay with Team Juniper because John is the most important to her, so yeah. Yeah, so everything with Team RWBY would be happening as in canon. So yeah. Yeah, that would be normal. But we do then reach the next point of basically, what now? Well, honestly, I think Team Juniper would arrive, leave in the town, wait for Team RWBY, encounter John's sister, and yeah, that would basically happen the same. But this time Neo's there, and Neo still has a reputation despite being on better terms with authorities. He's in a way. So John's sister is really nervous around Neo and concerned because she is very close to John, and I think she would mention, or at least tease, is that she's with him, so yeah. And I know, at some point I revealed the bottom part of this. I don't remember at what point. But if it already showed up and I wasn't paying attention at that moment, well, you've seen the bottom of this picture, and this reason here is basically the main reason I chose this for the thumbnail. But yeah, all that basically goes the same. Hey, nothing else would really change at this point. Team RWBY returns, Oscar runs away, Team Juniper finds the Pura statue. Neo, being at least considerate of John, would give them a moment to themselves. But I also think John seeing the statue is basically the same moment Neo had in canon where she finally let Roman go. So John's a little bit more willing to let this relationship happen. So they're better or related now. Well, in their relationship now. And yeah, the rest of Volume 6 happens the same. And Neo's still there, so she can provide a lot more support, but even Neo knows she can't do anything against the humongous robot. So, all that would happen the same. Okay. And now the bottom picture showed up. But yeah, as I already said, this is just, I like this. And it also explains what I think would happen. Anyways, he's moving on. We actually reached the next part, Volume 7. And once again, not much really changes in this. Not because there's not anything that's gonna change, it's just smaller bits that's changing in this. I mean, Neo is there, so when we get to the end of the volume, Neo's not stopping Team Juniper. And also I'm gonna mention this because it's pretty important, but Cinder doesn't have an easy time getting to Atlas due to not having Neo being able to disguise as their plane and their selves. And since Neo's not going to be teamed up with Cinder at this point, it's going to have a massive effect later on. But keeping everything in mind, yeah, not much will really change. Neo and the gang will basically get to Atlas. The entire Neo being there causes Penny to be on alarm until explanation. And they basically all train and become professional huntresses and huntsmen. Neo, I don't know what she would become on being honest. But she'd probably at least be a huntress in training just to stay close to John. And also another funny thing of when all the mothers are basically thirsting for John, Neo actually there, and honestly half of me wants to say she gets into a comedic fight with them. But the other half says she's gonna basically tease them. Well, not tease, more of show them that he's hers and not theirs. But yeah, mostly small things like just Neo and John being together. And since they're not really in a rush or in a hurry, same thing, I know. Well, since they're not really in a massive rush or trying to stop Salem right now, they can just spend time being cute boyfriend and girlfriend. And Cinder would eventually get there, but it would be way more obvious that she's there. Everything else, I still have to say what happened the same. And Neo would still be with Team Juniper, so nothing changes there except for Neo being on their side, so they escape actually. And yeah, Volume 7 ends right where it would have. And since it looks like I have a little more time, I might just make this the last part. Alright, because Volume 8, I have a huge thing I want to say. But everything up to them finding the relic, I believe would be the same. Hey, I'm not as refreshed on it, because I was mostly trying to refresh myself on Volumes 2 through 4. But, honestly, nothing much would change. They would still be split up. Neo's not helping Cinder, so Cinder doesn't get the relic of knowledge. I can't speak sometimes. But yeah, she doesn't get that. So the question is, would Cinder be able to stop them? I mean, would she get into the Lance's dimension while they're trying to escape Atlas? And even if she did, would she be able to stop them? Neo was mostly the main player and knocking members of Team RWBY into the void. Without that, she's mostly facing Penny and Team RWBY providing support for their friend. even Neo would be joining in, still wanting revenge. And for everything Cinder's done. So, yeah. Yeah, it's possible they could either send Cinder there, or Cinder doesn't find them. And without her finding them, they would just escape Atlas without any problems. Now, Winter didn't get the boost from the Maiden power, so would she be ended by Ironwood? That I don't know. Well, Winter is still pretty skilled, so maybe she could have got out of the way. But yeah. Yeah, and even if that's the case, we could still say, since Cinder was having a fight with Penny, she could have still died. But other than that, I don't know how much would really change after this, or at least up to this. Yeah, so, yeah. There's a possibility that Team RWBY, he would just escape without any problems. And Neo being with John, they would just still be together. Now, just for fun's sake, let's say all that would still happen and Team RWBY, John, and Neo get sent to the Ever After. Neo and John being basically attached to the hip would fall at the same time. So Neo would be aging with John. And just for fun, I think since they have a lot of time together, they would officially get married and have kids. I mean, John is basically, I think in his 50s, he's during that arc. He's, the most I know is he's the Rusted Knight, and the Rusted Knight is an adult, so this can be legal, and it won't be frowned upon because technically they're around the same age at this point, or at least in consent age. I think they'd have to, a lot of time would pass, and when Team RWBY comes, he'd get reintroduced, they meet the kids. I don't know what would happen with the cat stuff. It's possible that RWBY would actually be possessed, but since Neo has her semblance boosted in this world, she could possibly defeat it and defeat the RWBY possessed, cat possessed RWBY. I think it said it right the first time, but basically, yeah, RWBY, he would basically get the cat exited from her body. He'd at least be a lot better mentally. And yeah, they would all leave. Now, the question is, would Neo stay? Probably not, since John's still going, and she'd rather not leave her husband. So they would both return. But the question now would be, would their theoretical kids join them, or would they stay taking over the roles of the Rusted Knight? That would be fun, but I'm already in fanfic territory with that alone, so you can go either way, and if we go the second route, John would probably have to meet his parents or the rest of his family due to them believing he was dead. And along with explaining that he's basically now married, he would also have to explain why there are two kids with him and her. That would just be a funny conversation, but yeah, this is where the series ends. And I got this far in the original recording, so hopefully, and I mean hopefully, this voiceover doesn't just delete itself at this point. If not, I am going to make a quick video stating it and might just change it into some shorts. Or just make the parts shorter, or to get them done. or delete some things on my phone first. Either way, I hope this actually gets done so I can finish it up in post. But anyways, I hope you all enjoyed. Leave a like if you haven't and already. You can share with others so they can see the stories as well. Comment literally anything. I just like reading your guys' thoughts in the comments. And also, subscribe so you never miss another video. We have already reached 100, but I honestly want to see how far we can get. So, well, yeah, let's try raising that bar even further. There. I already did a post for the next What If, and I'm already working on the story. I'm only in basically part 1, but I just need to start thinking about it. And hopefully I can. And a lot's been going on through my head. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed. And I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.